Jones 3459. It is time you enter the High Council for your crimes of terrorism in the Time Variant Union.
God damn it!
Protect me! Surrender, I'm not going back! Jones, you son of a bitch who answered for your crimes against the High Council! Where is he?
彼は次の溝に入った。頼む。殺してくれ。
Yes! Jones! It's over!
Hasn't even begun. You wouldn't believe the things I've seen. Ron Jeremy's and Orion's belt burning in space. Task Force 69 ships on fire off the Pegasus belt. All these things will be lost. Tears in the rain.
Jones, brother! Come with me! Face a trial! It's too late! Don't do it, Jones! You underestimate my power! Don't do it! I have the high ground! My brother! You were the chosen one! You were supposed to defeat the Ron Jeremys, not join them!
Gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, the Talking Balaclava. Today we're out at a spot and gun culture that looks rather familiar. If you've never seen this place before, you may live underneath a rock. We're out here at the infamous range of the Garand Thumb, the Thumb of Garands, the guy who sacrificed his thumb to the M1 Garand, thus giving him the powers of a demigod. I'm not sure if that's canon or not, but we'll roll with it. Now, typically on my channel, how I like to do things is I will break it down and go through the gear. This is just some World War I gear on loan from Papa Thumb. The main focus of the video, we're looking at the Winchester 1897. We may diverge on some different topics just because of the, well, just because we can. It's my channel. I can pretty much do whatever I want. So, let me get out of all this real quick because it's hot as hell when you're wearing this little literal, I don't know, canvas coat. So, we'll derobe real quick. You can see all my sweat. And then we'll dive into the video. It'll be proper. It'll be good. Okay, whew, a little bit better. I didn't think it was going to be this hot up in Washington State, but apparently it is rather a little toasty. All Alright, gentlemen, today we're going over a little Winchester 1897, but before we dive into the video, this video is going to be sponsored by
Acre Gold. For all your acring and gold needs, head on over there. Let them know that I sent you. I know some of you are big crypto guys. I know some of you are big cash guys. I know some of you guys are looking to invest in questionable resources. Nonetheless, gold is an option out there for you to look into. Precious metals are something that we as humans have always looked into. Now, take this with a grain of salt. I'm no financial expert, so of course, as always, do your own research. I'm just letting you know that Acre Gold is an option for you guys out there, an option of which might just get you the job done.
Now, without further ado, let's get our guest on the channel, Papa Thumb.
Hey, what's going on, man?
It's good to have you.
doing?
It's quite an honor.
I'm just a very autistic kid making videos in my basement, so it doesn't feel like an honor to me.
Aren't we all? Well, I appreciate you, because this is, full disclaimer, and it's got some of my blood on it now.
It does. It's been christened by you.
It's been christened. It's a blood sacrifice. This is your Winchester Repro 1897. Of all the videos, or correction.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous. Of all the guns I saw in your safe, the Winchester 1897 spoke to me and said, hey.
It called you.
It called me, and it was like an Indiana Jones relic calling me, and I thought, that'd be a fun video. It'd be a fun vibe. We can poke around, run around on the flat range, shooting some targets.
It'd be a good time. I think I'm dead now in the canon lore.
No, your variant's dead.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a good question. Is do you know where the timeline's at right now?
Yeah, we do, but we can't spoil anything.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we can't spoil anything.
NDA.
Easy.
NDA.
NDA, guys.
Can't talk about it. Sorry.
We're on a
Sorry.
friend DA here. Don't you worry.
Friend DA. That's pretty clever. Now,
know.
So I don't have a lot of time behind this gun as opposed to you would.
Sure.
If you could, because I know you've already done a video on this.
Yeah, man.
Real quick, what's an unknown feature about this gun that most guys don't really realize?
Maybe it's that they don't realize it, but I think the coolest thing about it is, of course, as we make sure I don't shuck around into the cameras, slam firing, right? Slam firing is like the most awesome thing about this gun. So essentially, when this hammer is back, once I depress the trigger on this, as you cycle the weapon, there's no disconnect. What that means is, as long as that trigger is held to the rear, as soon as that bolt is seated and the hammer is fully reset, that hammer is going to drop, and then you're going to immediately fire another round. What that means is, every time I drop it, as you can see, the hammer is just coming straight forward. Now, it's not following. It is, once it's fully seated, then it's dropping, and what that means is, as long as you pump this thing and you have ammunition, you're just going to be shocking rounds into Germans, into whatever war this is seen in Africa.
At the mummies?
Yeah, the mummies, of course,
right,
the mummy
right.
as well. And they've been around forever. It was made in 1897, and they've served, I'm sure they're still serving, and they've just been around for a long time. It's a very, very reliable shotgun. I remember when I first bought it, this old boomer was like, 1897. He's like, it takes about 100 years to break in. I'm like, no, it doesn't, old man. It does.
Sure enough, it does.
Spoiler alert.
The narrator.
Does. Yeah.
It did take 100 years.
Narrator. It did take 100 years.
Oh, man, this gun is actually really cool. So, as far as shotguns go, to me, of the shotguns I've handled, and I'm sure you've seen this, and I may go down a rabbit hole real quick. I'm sure you've seen the narrative in gun culture that shotguns are an outdated tool.
Sure.
And that everybody needs a carbine first and foremost.
Sure. And these are good topics of discussion, right? So the idea is, where does a shotgun fall as far as you guys? And that's a harder question. In some spheres, certainly the shotgun can be obsolescent, not obsolete, but the shotgun is a very, very violent weapon. So despite any shortcomings that it may have, it still has a very good ability at correct ranges with the correct loadings to pretty well incapacitate somebody. And, I think in many ways, the shotgun is kind of unmatched in that. Now, of course, when it comes to distance, a shotgun is outclassed by a carbine.
Right,
There's no doubt about it. But it's all about, what are you going to be using it for? Because for a solid 95% of people who are going to be, defending their homes, shotgun's kind of a good option in many cases. I understand for you AR-15 people out there that they're very effective. That's what I use personally. But if you have the shotgun, or if they have their grandpa's old shotgun, you're not gonna be at a disadvantage. Or for people in countries where all they can own are shotguns, you shouldn't feel too left behind when it comes to the firepower.
Yeah. I think of I try and put terms into like very cost-effective ways. Is that a lot of guys, you know, there are people that are interested in guns, but they don't have the gumption to throw down the coin that say guys like us are on weapons.
Sure.
You know, there are guys that, hey, I don't need a $4,000 AR. They're like, but I still want to own a gun. So they'll go out and they'll buy like some cheap, you know, pump action shotgun. And they'll call it good. And of course, is that the right way to do it?
I mean, it depends, right? It could be. It certainly could be. It really depends on your use scenario and you. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not all of you. There are so many individual situations and individual people. It's hard to say what's right for everybody. It'd be pretty retarded of me to say this is the only way because, you know, who could possibly have so much experience that they know that it's good for every single situation out there?
Yeah, I don't know if in a life or death situation, it's like I think of, you know, everyone thinks of, okay, there's like 5 bad guys trying to get into my house. They all have body armor. They all have like all this kit on. Of course, I wouldn't want a shotgun. I'd want like a grenade launcher at that point. But
well, actually, no. But I mean, the point is, like, you know, somebody comes into their house or using this in whatever situation. I mean, 4 rounds of rapid fire buck is still, no matter what, going to be a very good and has been for almost 100 years a very good deterrent of people from doing terrible things.
And you have the option in case things
sword,
go. Yeah, you have a sword in case things go.
Does this feel? Yeah, it's a really ridiculous weapon when you look at it. Made for a different era for sure.
It's crazy. So kind of get into the historical aspect of this, and I really do love history. And I'm sure I know you're a big history. You're really wearing a World War I outfit.
I know, right? Well, kind
Hey, man,
of. People are going to get into it and be like, well, actually. Yeah, as I have it popping, collar open, and t-shirt, whatever. But anyhow,
yeah, it's for fun. It's for fun, you nerds.
Just
right.
We're having fun.
Go talk to girls. All right.
Damn.
So, getting into the historical aspect of this shotgun, you know, I always disclaimer, I'm no historian here on the channel. I'm no, you know, expert on history. I'm an admirer, and I love to learn about history. And I think of where this became so notorious was in the Western trenches, you know, or in the Western front, in the trenches. These American soldiers showing up, and they have these shotguns, and like forever they were using hunting rounds to kill each other with bolt guns, which to me in itself is wild. Like, imagine, like,
psychotic.
As someone who uses 5.56 and thinks, oh, that's my duty gun. Literally, they're sending 30-aught projectiles at you from a bolt gun.
Can you imagine just taking a 30-06 at 7 yards away from a 1907, or a 1903 or a 1917, like, psychotic.
So
absolutely overpowered for most situations that they're finding themselves in.
Wild. I mean, this was really called a trench
shotgun. You know, and it should be noted too that it really proved itself, because there's a lot of discussion when it comes to this guy's use in World War I. But we for sure know, without a doubt, that in World War II, this thing was an absolute showstopper, especially in the Pacific Theater of Operations.
Man, that's some crazy American history tied to this gun. It's crazy seeing the heat guard knowing, like, so I'm from Arizona, right? And it's like, anytime you pull your gun out of the case, it's already hot. It's already ready to go. And heat guards sometimes, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but sometimes they're like, the gun's already going to be wicked hot.
Wicked hot.
But imagine being, you know, in France during the wintertime, you're like, all right, boys, guess we got to go do. And you're like, we're going to go clear a trench. I'm like, yeah. So
can you imagine shooting so much through a shotgun to the point where you required a heat guard to help dissipate heat? Crazy. And, you know, it's just wild. It's such I think why it's so evocative of a weapon is it's such an American thing to do. It's like, for the longest time, you know, it's like Europeans been using XYZ, and then Americans show up, and what do we bring? Like a shotgun, of course, right?
And a BAR.
Yeah. Like, it's psychotic, and it's just, it's such an Americanism, right? There's so much pride behind how kind of cowboyish we are. And in many ways, you know, the 1897, due to its use throughout history, is completely evocative of that older lifestyle. It's like, of course we show up with a shotgun, you know? That's classic America right there.
I'm surprised they didn't show up with more lever guns.
No, honestly, right?
They would have just tamed the West in like a lifetime ago. Yeah. Hostiles?
What a great movie.
LARP News Network is Hostiles in the work for Garand Thumb.
I cannot comment on that at this time. We will see.
Man, that was a big letdown. It's so, as a guy, I own an 870, right? And I'm not a big shotgun guy. All right, Mr. Semi-Auto Benelli guy. So I own an 870, right? And I'm not a big shotgun guy, just because I was like, you know what? Well, I own an HS-10 too. That's a tuning gun.
That's your best gun, to be honest.
That's probably my best gun.
Yeah.
Seeing the aesthetics because part of owning a gun is looking cool.
100%.
The only thing I noticed, you can't really put a good weapon light on here, and it kind of almost be like sacrilege.
No, you just tape a weapon light right to the side of the bayonet.
Oh, you think so?
That's a complete thought stopper right there.
After you blow up someone's insides, you can see what's inside.
Yep, see what's inside.
Yeah, it'd be kind of sick. Do a little surgery on the fly.
Perfect.
It's the aesthetics of this gun, of this particular shotgun. I'm like, I just rock this just to die looking cool.
100%.
After some boomer slaps me with their SKS from 500.
You get shot from 500, he comes by, he's like, God damn, is that a trench shotgun?
I played with this in Call of Duty.
Based. As he walks by your dead body, based.
Cringe.
Getting shot by an SKS. Cringe.
You just died.
You just died. In many ways, there are better shotguns out there, but one thing that I don't think, and this is my own personal bias, but how many weapons have the longevity of service that the 1897 has? Like, how many weapons have been since its inception in 1897 and since it's been made, been used in continuous combat and had that just track record? I've got a shotgun that was made in 1899 for trap and skeet shooting. God knows how many rounds are through it, and to this day, it is still mechanically sound. Do I think a Glock 17, Gen 1, is going to be mechanically sound a solid 130 years later after it was made? Probably not, but the Winchester 1897 certainly was, and I think that's pretty incredible.
Well, it's like this is still I know people are still using bolt guns, but not to the same effect. Like cops still get issued shotguns.
Yeah.
Shotguns are still used in a duty capacity, whether military or police. Duty. You keep a professional guy.
Sorry,
this is a professional
dude. This is a professional.
9,000% no. So cops are still issued these weapons now. I'm sure they're starting to lean more towards fully auto shotguns, semi-auto shotguns, but still, at the very basic level, a pump-action shotgun is still considered like, hey, you can work at a duty capacity to that.
Yep.
Duty. And it's like the technology is old. It's old. It's like, we kind of like, you look at history, right? You look at, say, a black powder pistol got phased out by more
revolvers, black powder revolvers, and then cartridge-fed revolvers, and then rifles and semi-automatic pistols, and it kept going and going and going. Compared to, like, you could still whip this guy out, and you're good to go.
It's just as modern.
And I think that's kind of the allure, right? It's like this shotgun is still, it's good.
It's really good.
It still works. It's no problem. And there's a lot of weird things about this shotgun, like when you hold it and you push it back. So like hold it and rack that guy back, right? That right there. The first time I ever held one of these guys, I completely took off like the skin of my knuckle and got blood on mine. And you don't see that anymore. It's just these cool little things about this weapon that are just very interesting. And shotguns have gotten a lot better because if you look at the side, it is a single arm as far as working the action. Modern shotguns are dual bars because it's just simpler to push it back on both sides compared to one side. But you know what? It turned out that the single bar was fine.
Now, here's a question for you because I'm kind of into this and I feel ashamed to say it, but do you think they could ever make a modernized version of a Winchester 1897, slam fireable?
Yeah, you could. There's an episode of Carnicon where you essentially get your soul sucked into into hell. That's
Go on.
Continue. That's what would happen if you modernize 1897. No, I'm sure you could. And I don't want to be clear. There have been a lot of modernization that has been done to the shotgun and the action. This was an older system, and there are flaws, and it's not the best, but so that's for that reason. It's like modernizing a C96. Is it a viable semi-automatic weapon? 100%. Sure. But there are simpler and better ways to make it, and I think that's kind of the allure of some of these older weapons, where they were made with such care and so much machining went in that was perhaps unnecessary, but really added to just the beautiful look. And like you looked at these and you're like, man, there was a lot of effort put into these weapons. Like you look at a C96 and you're like, God, like they really put just so much thought and love into these guns. And a Glock works so well. 100,000 rounds, no problem. But you look at a Glock, you're like, this isn't beautiful. You pick up a C96 and you're like, wow.
You think they make guns more like that today because everyone's like trying to flex on the gram.
Right, like more bling on them.
Yeah, a little more
that
bling,
type of thing.
Like C96.
Where are we at, gun manufacturers?
Yeah, where are we at?
Oh, red anodized parts. Cringe.
Unbased.
Unbased.
Yeah, that should come out by the time we talked about that in your video.
Did we?
Yeah, red anodized parts.
Oh, yeah, we did.
So it should come out.
It keeps coming back.
It'll come back.
Everything's full circle.
So this being a good CQB weapon, right? You know,
Sure.
blowing off chunks up close as
Blowing.
Chunks. What am I, 12? Let's remove the bayonet. We're going ultimate CQB.
Oh yeah.
Minus the sword, right? Now, subguns. Here's a modern MP5 SK or MP5K. I just had a stroke.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, so
SP5K.
right. So subgun 9mm. That's built for CQB too.
Yeah,
Right.
100% is. Very effective weapon. I mean, the 60s proved that, you know, these submachine guns worked very well. Absolutely no problems with them. But are you going to get the violence that you're going to get from a shotgun? No, but of course you do have 30 rounds, so probably
Right.
a little bit more to deal with as far as that's concerned. Ooh.
I was gonna go off on a tangent, but it's just almost as funny to see like someone dressed in World War I attire holding an MP5.
Walking fire.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, speaking of other weapons that we have featured,
Yeah,
we have
let's bring out Big Bertha over here.
this guy. Now, of course, we have to mention the fact that this is made by Ohio Weapon Systems, and this is not a World War I BAR. This is built off the A2 model, but you know what, guys? It's really hard to find the World War I models. We're working on it. Just deal with it,
All
okay?
right. Okay.
Okay.
Cringe.
But you know, these are just crazy weapons. A lot of these older weapons, like holding this BAR, it is a heavy bitch, and especially when you consider that people were smaller back then. Like, people just were better, I think.
Dude, they must have been like, they're like, all right, we're getting some good old like farm boys to run around with these bad boys.
Well, yeah, they're strong, man.
some corn-fed boys.
I know.
Ergonomically, this
They're
thing
not just playing
sucks.
Fortnite all day.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, get off your ass. Go work out.
Yeah.
Dude, this is thick. Like, I like to work out, but like, this is like, can you imagine you're like, all right, hey, dude, we have to go on a long hike.
We're going.
I'd be like, hey, can you, I just match with Chief, you'd be like, hey, switch me that real quick.
Switch it back.
All right, we're getting into contact. Hey, buddy, I'm so sorry. I know you just held that for a while.
Yeah, like here, we'll switch it back. There's a lot of cool guns and a lot of cool innovation came out from World War I. And in many ways, the World War II bar was kind of inferior to the World War I bar, just in the way that they added weight, the upgrades that they made. A lot of European countries kind of made the correct upgrades, while as, you know, in the United States, we didn't do the best things in modernizing the BAR when it came to World War II. I mean, it was still used and it kind of filled a role that perhaps didn't exist, but you know what? It is still a cool piece of history.
Right. Man,
This is crazy.
aggressively aesthetic.
Aggressively aesthetic.
Really, like,
Walking Fire, World War
I
I.
don't know. We're just going hard. World War I must have been wild, man. All the,
World War I must have been wild. Well,
yeah.
yes.
Hey, let me break it down for you. Go listen to Dan Carlin talk about Blueprint for Armageddon. It's just like my monkey brain's like, how do I summarize World War I? Wild.
Wild. Return to monkey.
Return to monk. You know, that's about what I'm good with. I think
Yeah.
we can wrap this up.
We can wrap it up. I mean, another thing to note too is like on these weapons, the grips are pretty small, and I think that's one thing that you realize holding these older weapons, where it's kind of hard to really kind of conceptualize, but like people were smaller.
Yeah.
Literally, people were smaller due to a lack of nutrition and stuff. And like you hold these grips, and you're like, God, I feel like I have monster hands, especially like a C96 or some of these older weapons. You're like, the grips are so tiny, your hand doesn't even fit on them. And then you think about them handling the weight of these weapons and the length of them being smaller people. Like, these must have been just monster weapons.
Dude, we could have gone back in time and been like pro football players.
Could have crushed it, dude.
Today we're like...
Today we're like average.
Yeah.
Hella average.
Hella average.
Hella average.
So my wife tells me. Pop... Mr. Jones!
Mr. Jones!
Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones, yes.
Thanks for coming on the channel,
course,
being a big
man.
guest. I think everyone here on my channel knows I've been a big fan of yours.
I'm a big fan of yours, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Like self-explodes.
Well, no, but I mean, we grew up together and everything, so I think, I mean, obviously I'd be a big fan of what you've done.
You
and
were
everything.
always father's favorite.
I know. I mean, I think that's what made it so tough, like for you to kind of break into this market. So I'm just proud of you, dude, that you've
Thanks,
done so
man.
well.
Yeah. We can call Dad and talk about that later, but whatever. Anyway, so I got a gift for you. It's a...
Oh, no way.
I know you're not a big hat guy,
Yeah, I look really bad in hats.
but this is a Task Force 420 hat. It's a low pro hat. So, you know, he's a Task Force 69 guy.
I don't want to bring it up right now in front of everybody, but
Right.
we kind of were let down by 420. We were let down by 420. We're kind of let down by Task Force 420 pretty recently. You know, I'll still rep them. I don't want to kind of bring everything to light. That's still at trial, so I can't really talk about it that much. But there are some issues there, just so you know.
How come Task Force 69 has so many defectors?
Okay, listen, Task Force 69 has been around for a long time, so I don't know what to tell you. It's when you can have a track record like us after how many years of service we have. Come talk to me, dude.
It's kind of bullshit since time is relative. What do you think? Hey, it was good to have you on the channel.
Yeah,
it was.
You know what? I think I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna.
Gentlemen, hey, if you enjoyed the shenanigans that is this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Your comments are a sacrifice to the ulterior Mike Jones Garand Thumb ego, an ego of which is rather actually kind of nice. It's really kind of weird. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got for you. I will see you all on the flip.
Like and subscribe to Garand Thumb.